Check, 1, 2. Hey. I see squiggly lines, so I guess it's working. I don't know, man. This is not my bag.
I'm with you, brother. Yeah, I'm pumped that a couple of high-tech rednecks are making this work.
And it's red.
How about that?
That's the right color, ain't it?
Black and red. Look at
Crazy.
it. I think we're on. I think it's official.
Okay. What's up, everybody? Justin Moore here, and welcome to the maiden voyage, if you will, of the Justin Moore podcast. My longtime pal, JR,
What's up,
tour
everybody?
manager, godfather to 3 of my kids, etc., introduced me to podcasts years ago, and we've had this idea for 3, 4, 5 years. We said, man, it'd be pretty fun if we did one together. It'd be pretty funny also. Just to kind of give you a little bit of what you're going to hear on this podcast, it's obviously JR and I are boys, and we're going to talk sports, which we love. Obviously, we're going to talk some music. Trying to give you actually more all access to me than you've ever had. Just kind of giving you guys a glimpse further and deeper into Justin Moore past music. We will talk some music, and we will call some buddies from time to time and catch up with some pals on the road too. But JR, what do you think, man? Here we go.
On this, I'm thinking, we'll give them a little inside baseball for lack of better words. We'll give them a little bit of what really goes on the road, not just the generic, what's your favorite song you ever wrote, what's the same, where's your favorite place to play,
who's my biggest inspiration?
Influence. If you don't know, by the way, if you don't know, Dwight Yoakam is just his biggest influence after all the interviews he's done. It's Dwight Yoakam.
If you don't know it's Dwight Yoakam, just look at how tight my britches are on stage.
Well, I got my beer ready, and I know you do, Justin.
Yeah.
Hopefully all the good people out there can grab a beverage, sit back, and enjoy this first episode where we plan to catch up, share some stories, most importantly, give everybody another answer to the question, why we drink.
Man, what have you, just to kind of move along, we've talked a little bit, not a ton, but most of it's been work stuff. What have you been doing around the house since we got shut down, I guess the first, second week of March?
Yeah, the March 11th, I believe, was our last show we attempted to play. 11th
That's
or
right.
12th.
The 11th, you're right.
11th, yeah. I flew the night before to Bossier City, Louisiana. We were going to play the casino there, which is a cool place. We always have a good time there. And, the next day we were just about to get ready to do sound check, and the promoter comes in and says, governor says no go. So we packed it up and headed home, and probably done what I planned on doing in 5 years worth of honeydew projects in the last 2 months, which I told my wife, I said, we're going to start spacing this out. I'm going to have to need some stuff to do once this is all over. So we're at a good spot now. But, just that, man, just trying to stay busy, like you said, cooking a bunch, eating in at the house, trying to go to the grocery store, limit that once a week. And just cook from home. Me, I'm like you. I'm the Traeger. I love my Traeger.
Traeger king. I'm more of a big green egg kind of
you
guy.
like the egg.
If I have the time, I would rather do charcoal. I just enjoy charcoal, the process, and I like the flavor of it, obviously, the smoke and all that. But you get a lot of that from the Traeger also, and you don't have as much work going into it. But for me, man, having 4 kids, as you well know, and you've spent so much time with us, the more time I can spend outside, out of the house, especially right now during this whole quarantine deal, any excuse I can use, like babysitting a charcoal grill is welcomed at this point. But we've been cooking a lot too, man.
I was going to say, I bet Kate's like, I don't know what we're going to do for dinner. And you're like, I'm on it. I'll go outside. I got it.
We actually planted a garden. We've been talking about doing that for 3.5 years. And so it's doing well. We planted it I guess 4 weeks ago, and it's doing really, really well right now. And the kids are just loving it, man. They're not going to love it as much when we got to pick and shell all them peas, and their thumbs turn purple from purple hull peas. But I think it's going to be cool for them because they can see it. They saw it as seedlings, and they put them in the ground, and they'll see us cooking with this stuff and eating it, and I think
Yeah.
that'll be kind of neat for them.
I know. I'm sure you did the same thing when you were little. Your grandparents, you go sit in the living, you sit in your grandma's
All the
floor
time.
with the big
In the den.
or like we'd sit there and my grand would watch the stories. We'd watch Days of Our Lives, and I'd have the big silver wash tub, and we'd shell peas all day. And yeah, it might not. I didn't even realize it wasn't fun. I guess we didn't have that many things to distract us back then. But now looking back, man, how great a time was
Yeah.
that! I wish I'd go back and do it right now.
Well, yeah, and the cool thing too is it teaches them to, respect our property and the ground and treat it right, and the other thing, man, is just kind of teaching them, hey, if you put work into something and effort into it, you can reap the rewards of it. And so
Yep.
I think it'll be kind of neat for them, and it'll be great for us. I love homegrown vegetables, but I'm usually having people bring them to me. So to have them, 30 yards from the house is going to be awesome. And I want to interject right here. This is not the setup that you guys will be hearing me from or seeing me at for the most part. We are actually at our beach house, and we thought, you know what? Just to change the scenery for the kids will be great because we've been cooped up in our house for, over 2 months now. So we came down a few days ago. Actually, Mother's Day we came down. So did you get to see your mom for Mother's Day?
Yeah, she came down. We had a nice crawfish shrimp boil. That's her favorite for her. I didn't get to go up on Mother's Day, so she came down right before that, though. She's still working. Their stuff's still essential. They're moving. She works for a cotton broker, so they're still moving truckloads of cotton around America.
Nice.
Much as they can. Somebody's getting to work, hopefully. But yeah. What about you?
I got to tell you what I got Kate for Mother's Day.
Nice. Bring it.
You're going to laugh. You're going to shake your head, roll your eyes, and laugh. So I live in the middle of nowhere in Arkansas, a little town of about 300 people. It's a town I grew up in, Poen, Arkansas. I think our population is 272 or 276 or something like that. That's 276, not 276,000. So anyway, we have between what we own and what we lease, we have like 130 acres. And my wife, who did not grow up in the country, I did. She loves being out there in the sticks, and she loves the idea of having a farm. So we have 2 Great Danes who are brother and sister. They're Johnny and June. They're 160 and 180 pounds. They're like
dinosaurs. For anybody who doesn't know, they're huge.
Yeah, they live in the house. So, quick story about that. I thought they were outside dogs until I had put the deposit on them and found out that I had been duped by either the breeder or my wife. Probably my wife. I thought they were outside dogs. They're inside dogs. But then we have a little half Westie, half Scotty named Hank that we've had for, I think he's 16 now, 17, something like that. And then we got a couple of cats, Willie and Waylon, and they were outside cats. Willie is no longer with us. I don't know if he ran off or if he got sick or something.
He's on the road again.
He's on the road again. That's right. And then Waylon is still around, and Waylon makes his way inside the house a lot more than I had hoped he would. So, all that being said, we also have on our property, we have some horses and cows and all that good stuff. But that being said, my wife has been begging me for a chicken coop and chickens. And so
Really?
for Mother's Day, I got her a chicken coop that I got the plans for it. I've got to build it. So you may be coming up and helping me build a chicken coop, JR. But
Let's do it.
It tells you exactly what materials to get and all that, and it's pretty easy. And so I'm gonna get her a rooster and 5 or 6 hens, and so the name of my company is called Rebel Rooster. So my wife's all excited about naming all these chickens. So we came up with a first name. Our rooster will be named Rebel.
Oh,
just like
wow.
my company. So maybe we'll have the fans or something help us name all the hens or something. But, we'll have – so not only are we going to have fresh vegetables from the garden, we're going to have fresh eggs every day. hopefully.
Wow.
So she's all. That's the best present I've ever gotten her. I mean, you take away rings and jewelry and cars I bought her, beach houses and a chicken coop and chickens. She could not be happier. So that was her Mother's Day.
It's the simple things. That's awesome, man.
So we'll have to take you guys inside it. We'll do some videos and stuff and kind of keep you guys posted on our the process, if you will.
Yeah, so, I was going to say maybe we should set up and do a time lapse of you and I trying to build this chicken coop.
Yeah, exactly. For those of you who don't know, I have 3 daughters who are 10, 8, and almost 6. And then my little boy is about to be 3 here shortly, and in June. And so my three daughters, I coach all 3 of their teams. They're all on different teams, and we're way into softball and basketball. And so we had our first practice a couple of weeks ago. You know, the girls are just jacked up for.
I know you're jacked up too, Thunderhead.
I am.
Justin's probably one of the most competitive people I've ever met in my life, and since his first 3 children were daughters and not sons, we didn't get to play baseball and football and basketball. We played softball and basketball, and Justin's eat up with it. He was a good ball player in high school, and the apple don't fall too far from the tree because I've got to see your girls grow up over the years, and Ella's a stud, and I think Ken and Klein are going to be right behind them, and then Lord knows what's going to happen with South. We liable to never get him out of a deer stand once he finds one. But Justin's kids are the ones, like, they don't want to go play video games. They want, can I go hit some batting practice, or can we go do short toss or something? And even at 10, they're playing, I don't know how many games they're going to do this year. I know the last couple of years, 40, 50 games a year.
I don't know, 25 league games or so. And then we were going to play 8, 10 tournaments, which would have resulted in, a minimum of another 30, 40 games. So we were looking at, 60, 70 games. And then,
for 10-year-olds, ladies and gentlemen, for 10-year-olds.
Yeah, so, but we love it. The kids love it. We don't push them. We don't make them do it. But the fact that they kind of, my wife loves sports also. She won state in swimming, which I give her a hard time, say that ain't a sport, but it is.
Oh, yeah. We didn't do it.
We couldn't do it. I'd say, give me a ball. No. I'll beat you at anything with a ball. But
unless it goes underwater.
Unless it goes underwater. But no, she won state like twice or something,
right?
And was a good athlete, and we love it, and they've kind of, I guess that's rubbed off on them, our love for sports, and so it's been fun and something we share together.
Yeah.
The towns like JR and I grew up in are very similar. I mean, it's either church or hunting season, or it's basketball, football, baseball, whatever. The sports, it's literally that type of town.
Or trouble. That's about your only options.
Yeah, that just completely shuts down for the football game on Friday night.
Yep.
Ain't a thing going on.
Nope.
If you ain't at the game, who knows where you are.
The good, the bad, and the ugly, everybody's going to be at the game.
We didn't have football when I was growing up. Our school was too small. We didn't have enough people. But I was eat up with baseball and basketball and played it for the time I was 4 years old all through high school, and wanted to go play college baseball and had a couple of opportunities to do that, but I picked up a guitar and thought I had a better shot at doing that professionally.
Thank you for that. Thank you for that.
And I know you were the same way. You played basketball, baseball, football, and probably from the time you were tiny all the way up through. You even played in college a little bit, didn't you?
Yeah, well, mostly intramural stuff by that point. But early on, when we were little, I remember playing football and baseball, particularly when I was tiny. I mean, I had to be like first grade, maybe playing football and baseball the first time when I lived in Montgomery before we even moved to the lake, to Elmore County, where I ended up growing up, the illustrious town of Eclectic, Alabama. But I think that's part of like what you and I still look at our job as in some aspects, is we're still on the ball team. When we're traveling around doing shows, the locker room. When we're traveling around doing shows like we normally do, there's 20 to 30 of us on just our tour, just with our bunch everywhere we go.
Speaking of that, people have asked me throughout this, what do I miss most about being able to be on the road? And I mean, obviously, I miss being on stage. I mean, that's why I got into this and why I do what I do. I mean, that's so much fun to walk out there, and there's not a whole lot of things out there that can replace that feeling, that adrenaline rush.
Yeah.
I'm never been a drug guy, still aren't, thankfully. But it's almost like a drug. You just crave it, you know? And so I'm missing that. But I think what I miss most about it is the locker room
Yep.
things, you know?
Yep.
The conversations that you and I have on the bus after the show about the show.
Right.
Like, oh my gosh, that was so awesome. Did you see that guy? Or did you see this?
Yeah.
You know, or just BSing about, you know, life, you know.
Yeah, about Roger or Dave doing push-ups outside the bus.
Exactly. And so
Corey wearing something ridiculous.
Or hell, just to be in all complete transparency, getting drunk and listening to Bo Cephas as loud as we possibly can.
And me trying to sing with you. Yeah, exactly. All that stuff.
I mean,
That's
so
it.
I miss that stuff more than anything. And I won't get on a soapbox, but, you know, you hear people talking about get used to this new normal. This is going to be our new normal. Things are not going to be. I refuse to believe that. We're going to get back, in my opinion, we're going to get back to normal. America, just normal. It's not going to be a new normal, in my opinion. You may have a different opinion. I don't know. But I refuse to believe that we're not going to get back to the life that we once lived.
Yeah, I agree. It's going, you know, and obviously they're going to play that narrative from here on out that it's not. But yeah, in my world, when I see your kids, I'm hugging them. You know what I mean? When I see your mom, I'm hugging him. When I see your dad, I'm hugging him, and that's just how it is. And I mean, you know, you just can't live on fear all the time. And obviously, I don't want anybody to be sick. I don't want my grandmother to get sick. I don't want anybody to get sick, and I don't want. But I also know that I don't want to stand 10 feet apart and have a conversation with your dad. I want to go give him a hug and catch up. You know what I mean?
Well,
so stuff like that.
Yeah, and the thing is, man, I get it. Let's be safe. Let's use common sense. Like,
which you and I not to cut you off, but we've said that before. We've seen people that will come to shows and come hang out, want to get a picture and stuff, and will blatantly be sick. You'll see they're sick. They're sneezing. Their nose is running.
They'll sneeze into their hands and then shake your hand.
Yeah, and it's like, if you're sick, I mean, I get it, but we'll refund your ticket. We'll give you you can do it again. It's not gonna be your only chance ever, you know. Hopefully, and if you're sick, just stay home, you know. But people don't. So hopefully, after this, people will take a little more serious some of that stuff, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, it's just use common sense, and I won't take you down all of the rabbit holes of articles I've read that may.
God, you make yourself sick with all that stuff.
And a lot of them, are not in line with the media that you see on TV, and you know, I won't get into all that. This is not a political show, or won't ever be, but. Just be smart. We want everybody out there listening and watching to be safe. But to me, at some point, and one of the politicians said it could have been President Trump. I don't remember who, but you know, at some point, the cure is going to be worse than the virus itself. And so the other thing about that, before we move on, because I know nobody wants to hear this for 30 minutes, but nobody's talking about all of our mental and emotional health and our health from the neck up. It's all neck down. I'm telling you, JR, 2 weeks ago we had our first softball practice, and if you would have seen the joy on these kids' faces and the adults' faces, that means something. That means something. And it's just as important, sometimes more important than your physical health. Plus, our immune systems are going to be shot because we ain't been around nobody. So,
True.
You know, but anyway, we'll move on. But we talked about sports a little bit, but we didn't talk about The Last Dance. I know you've been watching.
Oh my God!
I've been watching. I'm not completely finished with it. I have to.
Oh wow!
Be honest. I think I have maybe 4 episodes left.
Yeah, for us growing up in the '90s, I mean that was it, man. I mean I remember Bird and Jordan. But I was, you're a couple years younger than me, but I was too young really to remember them when they were at their peak. I remember the '92, the Dream Team. They were on the Dream Team, but that was the tail end. You know,
it's just like Magic and Bird. I think is who you're talking about. We remember them, but we were kind of at the end of their career, really, into the NBA.
Yeah.
like so Magic and Bird and Isaiah Thomas and Joe Dumars and all of those guys. It was kind of, I guess, the latter stages of their career. And when Jordan came out and just came out with a bang, man. And so, as a matter of fact, somebody asked me on a radio show earlier that I did, who's your NBA team, who's your NFL team, and who's your baseball team? And so, college, obviously, the Razorbacks, JR's Roll Tide.
Roll Tide.
But the Braves in baseball, we'll go ahead and get this out of the way.
Yep.
Which,
chop.
Same as JR. I'm a Steelers fan. JR is Who Dat Nation.
Nation.
Saints fan. And I kind of pull for them, obviously, outside of the Steelers, because my wife's from down there. And but I really don't have an NBA team after this 90s Bulls team. That was my team. Outside of that, I haven't had an NBA team since.
You know, I was a big Hakeem Olajuwon fan. Obviously, I was a huge Jordan fan too, but Hakeem was my guy. Like I was saying earlier, I was 6 foot, so I was doing the big man drills. So I want to grow up and do the dream shake like Hakeem. So I liked the Rockets then, you know, and they had Robert Horry, who was from Bama, so that was kind of during that era. But they got to win 2 championships, but that was when Jordan took his baseball break, you know, so it's forever tainted.
So I got a pair of shoes at the beginning of each school year. My parents would buy me one pair of shoes, and every year I was lucky. But I'm an only child. You weren't.
Yep.
So that helped. I got Jordans every year. That was my school shoe for the year. And I wish I had all of them.
Oh, I know.
Now, because I'd be giving them to the girls in South. And as a matter of fact, I still have a couple pair of Jordans as an adult now. And so, but what's funny about you talk about the shoes, one of the episodes, it might have been one of the earlier episodes, they were talking about his shoe contract. And I don't know if you remember this, but he didn't even want to go visit Nike because he was an Adidas guy. And Nike was trying to win him over, and he goes, I ain't even going. And his mom said, they offered you this opportunity to go and talk to them. You owe them that much respect to go and talk to him. Can you imagine if Jordan?
I know.
Can you imagine if Jordan had
said
never
you need to
taken
go
that
listen
meeting
to
with
him.
Nike?
Yeah, unbelievable.
I mean,
it would. Yeah, culture would have changed. That would
crazy.
Literally, that changed culture. All of pop culture changed with that.
It changed from a monetary standpoint and an advertising standpoint and a marketing standpoint. It changed the business for NBA basketball players.
Yep, the game.
I mean, how many people have the shoes now? I mean, LeBron's obviously got shoes. D. Wade had shoes. Kobe had shoes.
Everybody.
I mean,
everybody,
it goes on. Kyrie Irving.
Everybody.
On and on and on and on and on and on and on. Man, it makes me want to go get a boot deal and go, hey, these are the Air Justin boots.
Before that, people didn't wear tennis shoes as a fashion thing. That was just for playing some sport or something. But then after that, you know, because I can remember right before that, you were a little younger, but we all still wore like Chuck Taylors and stuff. When Jordan came along, those were like people wearing those with suits and stuff. I mean, that was a fashion culture icon moment.
I thought, as far as the cultural thing, what happened was people started wearing them because a lot of the rap hip hop guys at the time started wearing them. Like Eazy-E and Snoop was not far from
Tupac,
coming out.
Biggie,
Dr. Dre, all those guys. So they started, they started wearing these MJs, and it just helped that much more, you know.
And I was going to say that every time one of those episodes comes on, man, the music just blasts you back to the 90s, you know, when we were growing up. And I could just remember hearing those beats kick in back in the day, and, you know, get warming up for a game, or, you know, getting in a car, you know, after the game, going to the ride around McDonald's or whatever, those songs being played, and they still hold up. That music is still good. I mean, obviously George Strait was great then too, and Alan Jackson and all our country heroes, but like you said, that was a new thing, and it was happening. It was part of that culture, and man, some good tunes, man.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty neat when you. Anyway, point being, if you haven't, please, you got to check it out.
Yeah.
And then the other thing we've been watching is Yellowstone, which you got to watch if you haven't.
Yep.
Ozark season 3.
I got that wrote down. I got to start those too.
What else have we watched? You know, the other show that we have watched, but we haven't watched the most recent and what will be the last season is Homeland.
Yes.
It's an amazing show. Yeah, those are 3 of my recommendations, and we can run through this real quick, but you got to watch all those if you haven't. But The Last Dance, you got to check it out. That takes care of TV. What about music, man? What you been doing for music? You been listening to anything, or?
Man, obviously not many people are putting stuff out right now. You got to give a shout out this past week. Our boys TR and my brother John Party got a #1. This past week, Beer Can't Fix, pretty good tune. Before I forget too, I actually saw today my good buddy RG Riley Green, fellow Alabamian, is putting out an EP of acoustic songs that he recorded during quarantine. And I want to say I think it's a new version, acoustic version of Grandpa's Never Died. Cool. So I don't know if it's out yet or it's about to be out, but I'm definitely going to jump on that. And but yeah, besides that, just our normal, the normal stuff, but not as much as you'd think. It's kind of like with the drinking thing. Obviously, I'm having a beer now in the middle of the day, but hadn't been drinking as much as I thought I would, and I think
I have.
Yeah. Well, a lot of people have, and I don't know. Maybe just because I'm at home, I don't know. And I'm thinking some of mine is just because I like it more socially than I thought I did. And used to I get home and like to drink by myself some, but it's almost like
I just like it.
I know you do, Thunderhead. I don't know. So I guess with that, I just not as much as I thought I would, but it's still some. Obviously, I've listened to enough to, but nothing just jumps off of something you got to hear. What about you? What have you been listening to?
Man, for me, music-wise, I kind of go back to the old standards for me, which is Waylon, Willie Merle, Johnny Cash, George Strait, Alan Jackson. The same old stuff that I grew up on. Which is hard to beat.
Yep.
A lot of people have asked me. I'll go ahead and answer this question. Am I going to do more live stuff? We are going to do more. We've done Facebook Live stuff. We've done Instagram Live concert type stuff. We've done a lot of those, but we've been fortunate 2 or 3 times over the past 3 months-ish to team up with some great people to donate to some charities. So what we're trying to do is, instead of just doing them just for the hell of it, which they're fun and you guys enjoy them, but if we can, in addition to give you a free show, also team up with, let's say, for instance, Lowe's, who we teamed up with a month or 6 weeks ago, along with our buddy Marty Smith from ESPN. We donated to East Nashville and Jonesboro, Arkansas tornado victims, like $25,000. That was great. I was able, alongside some other Arkansas buddy artists of mine, to donate $40,000+ to Arkansas food banks, because everybody obviously understands that that's an area of need right now for people, just eating, having groceries.
Yeah.
So that's a long-winded way of saying we are doing a lot of those things, but we're trying to team up with folks and charities anytime we can, rather than just doing them just for the hell of it. That being said, a couple things music-related with my music. Beyond that, we played a show last May, just over a year ago, at the Ryman Auditorium, a sold-out show at the Ryman Auditorium. It was the first time I had ever taken my tour through Nashville, which is crazy to think about this far into my career. And we recorded that show that night, audio, and we are releasing a live from the Ryman Auditorium album. I don't know exactly when, but we'll certainly keep you posted on that. I just heard the final mix, and it sounds really, really good, and I can't wait for people to hear that. So we're trying to do as much as we can to provide more content for you guys. And then I've actually been working on new music. I've got a new album. I've got all the songs. So we'll be going in and recording that album as soon as we can safely do that in a studio. But we got all the songs ready to go, and it's been well documented that I think that the Late Nights and Long Necks album is the best album I've ever done, and I believe that these songs are even better than the songs on that album. So just a little bit about what I've got going from my musical perspective, what I'm listening to. I'll be checking for those things out. And again, this podcast will come out each Tuesday is the plan right now, and we'll certainly keep you posted on dates as we get further down the road on those releases.
The other week we texted, and you said Big Country Jeremy Stover, your producer, was actually coming to Arkansas, and y'all were going to try to get a couple of vocal things done, maybe, or a little writing or something.
We did
for the new album, and I was going to ask, have you had any creative juices flowing as far as writing any new stuff? I know you got most of the new record done, but has anything struck you and just been like, I got to write any new stuff you've been writing since you've been home quarantined?
Yeah, I've actually written with a couple of guys over Zoom. Which
really?
Is kind of strange, but at the same time, to have the technology and the capabilities to do that is really, really cool. So yeah, it really hasn't slowed down songwriting for me, and I mean, obviously that's contributed to us having the songs ready to go for this album. And yeah, my producer Jeremy Stover came down to my house a couple of weeks back, and we got vocals. So all these vocals on the next album that you hear probably were me sitting on my couch recording them into a handheld microphone, which is not at all the way we typically do it, but they sound great, and I'm excited for everybody to hear them.
Yeah.
And speaking of Riley, a little teaser, I believe Riley and I are going to have a duet on this new album.
Nice.
So that'll be kind of cool. Just got to figure out when and where we can get him to do it. I know he's in Alabama, I believe, right now, probably close to you, because I've seen him post some fishing pics of wearing out some red snappers. So
yeah, he actually, which is funny, I should have went, but we had some people over, but he played the Floribama the other day, doing a thing with another Arkansan, Jack Robertson. They did I don't know exactly how it went down, because the Floribama's set up more like a restaurant right now. They have picnic tables everywhere, but they've got some stages set up and some music, and I know he went and I guess played acoustic there the other week, which ironically the last concert I got to go to was his show on the beach
at the Bama.
Yeah, on the 9th, before we got shut down a few days later. In Louisiana. So, but yeah, he was down. I know he said he was down doing his physics. I need to hit him up. Maybe we can get him on the horn, and next week or two we can jump on and catch up with him and see what all. Because I know I see him on social media. That joker's always in the woods or on the water somewhere. He's staying busy. Yeah. I won't tell him, make sure to enjoy it while you're single, because you get married up. One day you might not be able to go as much as you want to.
And speaking of that, a lot of artist friends of ours are like me and like Riley, have places down here on the Gulf. And I know I've spoken to Chris Jansen, who's been down here during the quarantine, and I think he and I are going to try to go get some fishing done.
Nice.
Because he's got a place here close to mine. Luke's usually down here. Jason's usually down here. So we'll try to get some of those guys on the horn and have them on the show. Amongst many others, we already mentioned Diamond Dallas Page. We're going to have John Party on. We're going to have, probably have BG on. I mean, the list goes on and on. We don't even want to mention too many names, because they're all friends of ours, and at some point they're all going to be on here.
Oh yeah.
Whether it be in person at the show or whether we just have them call us or something like that. But it's going to be a lot of fun, and we're running out of time, man. We BS here.
Well, yeah, we are. We're gonna have to go back and check and make sure all this stuff actually recorded like we wanted it to. But yeah, I had a great time, man. I was glad to get to catch up. I want to hit one thing before we get out, just kind of like in memorandum, I guess you would say. We recently lost Little Richard, which was a bummer, man. And throughout this whole being at home thing, usually when we're out and somebody we respect passes away, you go do a tribute to them, and you play a couple of their songs every night for a couple of months, like we've done with when Prince passed away, or with certain people. But we lost the great John Prine. Kenny Rogers passed away during all this, and then one that's we just did a show with him 6-8 months ago. The legend Joe Diffie. So I, as a personal request, before we tag out today, I was going to see if there's any way you might play us a little Joe Diffie tune if you brought a guitar with you.
I just happen to have one. Maybe we could do that.
Watch that.
Let me see if I got to figure out how to record this, JR.
Well,
I'm getting better at all this stuff, but I don't know if I'm that much of a pro yet. But we'll see if this works here.
This training on the fly, all this. we're gonna thank all of our illustrious production team: Jeff Oliver, Zach McCoy, Alyssa Reel, all you guys for getting us technically advanced enough to get this done, and also Cody Villalobos, our wonderful video director. Who? One other thing before I forget. If I know you have, if you listen to country radio, but be listening, call your radio stations. We've got Justin's song, that "Why We Drink," is now officially in the top 15, so we're looking for that to go up. And if you notice, his sidekick in that video may look familiar.
That's JR. We didn't even tell people that. Yeah, we need to tell them that, man.
Well,
I didn't even know that.
Yeah. So yeah, the last video we just did that's on its way up now. While We Drink, we recorded that at Justin's house. I got to do a lot of it with him that day. It was a long day, but it was a good day. Got hammered. But I want to thank Cody Villalobos for putting all that together, and it turned out great. And obviously, the song was great to start with. It's a good feel-good song coming off the heels of a real sentimental, deep song like the ones that didn't make it back home. A nice, fun, drinking song in the field full of hillbillies, as "Why We Drink" was great. So, but yeah, look for us on that. Hit the subscribe button. Tell your friends. Thank y'all for staying with us, and y'all be safe out there. And we'll see y'all real soon. And with that, I'm gonna let Justin tag out on a little diffie.
Yeah, we're gonna do this officially unplugged because I can't figure out how to plug in and record. There's something wrong. Lord, I'm feeling a chill that cuts through my heart like a torch cuts through steel. You haven't said a word. Are you feeling it too? Is it cold in here? Or is it just you? Did I leave the door wide open and let the chill just kill that old desire? Should I put my arms around you or put another log on the fire? Is it my imagination, or did the temperature just drop a notch or two? Is it cold in here? Or is it just you? Oh, is it cold in here? Or is it just you? Rest in peace, Pickup Man.
Man, cheers to y'all on that. Thanks, Just. Appreciate y'all.
Bet.
Thank you, America. We love y'all. We'll see you next week.
Absolutely. Hey, everybody, thanks for listening to episode 1 of season 1 of the Justin Moore podcast. Please, please, please subscribe. And we look forward to having these things out for you each and every week. It's going to be a lot of fun for us. Hopefully you guys are just as excited to listen to these each week as we are for us to do them and put them out for you. Y'all stay safe out there. Keep your heads about you. Go out and live your life, but do so responsibly. Be safe. Be well. We'll talk to you next week. Thanks for tuning into the Justin Moore podcast.
Cheers, everybody.